Oh, hello, internet friends. This is Armistice. And actually, this is Justine. This is Justine, my Fallout 4 character. Justine is she's a ex-lawyer, ex-popsicle, who enjoys long walks on the beach, killing super mutants and institute synths, and is currently walking through the Brotherhood storyline, paying lip service to their Nazi ideology and narrow-minded views on ghouls and things like that, all the while planning to betray them from within to the railroad. Oh, Paladin dance. How long have you been standing there? Oh no, I wasn't talking about anything. This is getting really awkward. Yes, very, very, very awkward. Um, well, let's get away from that. The purpose of this video is just really to show off my Sanctuary Hills settlement that I've been building up, and maybe discuss some things I've learned along the way that might be helpful to some people, or really just I like to talk and ramble and inflict it on other people. So let's get right into it. This is the bridge in, and a lot of people it's a logical choke point. A lot of people build it up and use that as sort of like the main defensible sort of shooting gallery. The problem is, I don't know if I'm the only one here, but I have never killed a single person on that bridge. They never, ever, ever come from across that bridge. The bad guys... Hello, cow. The bad guys always seem to come up against this wall, and sort of... I had a wall here that this was sealed off. They'd hit that, and they just sort of circle around the whole town until they found another way to get in. I do have another entry point, which I'll show you in a sec. So, after noticing that, I decided to open it up and sort of turn this into my shooting gallery. So if we look at that from the sort of enemy's point of view, there's, you're looking down the barrel of some guns, of some lasers, there's a missile turret. It's not really a fun day for a super mutant trying to get into the town from this direction. The bridge is still covered though. But anyway, so maybe some of you have noticed that as well. But I'm going to circle around the outside because there are a couple other things I want to show. You can just see that I have a continuous wall here, and I've boarded up all the windows that face the outside from the the old buildings, the pre-war buildings. And the reason for that is, in a couple of firefights with raiders and gunners, they just sort of sit here and sort of shoot at villagers from through these windows, and the villagers would go into the house and there'd be this big firefight through the window. And I decided that if I boarded up these windows, I'd eliminate that, and it would force the bad guys to actually go to my defenses my hard points, my defensible points that I'd have built up, and then it would give the turrets more opportunities to work on the bad guys. And it's been working pretty well. Here's my second entrance, so this is the sort of pathway to Vault 111. I thought I saw something up there. I thought I saw a Deathclaw, but anyway. Pathway to Vault 111. I got a second sort of smaller checkpoint, and there's a little door in, circling around the rest of the defenses. Now, there's a third place that people report that enemies sort of attack this town. Lots of people have noticed that they spawn at the cul-de-sac, just up here, the sort of cul-de-sac end of Sanctuary Hills, and they will often spawn inside of your defensive perimeter. And people chalk this up to a bug, problems with the perimeter logic, or if that's the technical term, I don't know if it is, but you get my drift. Now, I have this theory that the reason enemies will spawn at the cul-de-sac or in that end of town is because of this stick, this tree against the roof of this house, which you can't scrap because it goes outside of the green. You can run up this, get to the roof, drop down inside a town, and be inside the perimeter. And I've never seen an NPC or a enemy do that, but if the logic of the game detects that as a potential breach in the town, it might then give the green light to allow enemies to spawn inside of your perimeter. So with that as my theory, I blocked off the top of that roof line, as you can see. and I can tell you that I've never had a single spawn inside of my perimeter since I put that there. It still could be just a coincidence, I could be wrong, but that has worked for me, so I thought I would just, pass that along. So we'll just go around the rest of the town here, just show you that I do have a complete wall around. I have built up this bank with cinder blocks, or whatever you call them, concrete floors, so you can't, there are spots here where you could jump up over, but that's been closed. And we'll just go into town and I'll show you some stuff. I'll show you some of the buildings I've built in the town. Alright. So we'll just go in the town here and I'll show off some of my buildings. Every pre-existing, pre-war building in this town has had the interiors gutted. Everything that can be scrapped has been scrapped. Nobody lives in any of them except for one. So I won't. That's why I'm not showing off any of those. They're just empty. So here's my bathroom. I built this, and then I decided to just abandon the idea of bathrooms. From a role-playing perspective, I was like, why am I building a bathroom? Who is the person who has to empty the stuff out of that non-functioning toilet that isn't hooked up to anything? Wouldn't a bucket be more logical? That's just unkind to fill that up knowing that someone has to scoop all that out. And then I just thought, no, I'm not making any more bathrooms. That's just stupid. It's more hygienic to go in the bushes at this point, right? Anyway, let's look at the outside of this. I think this looks really nice. I'm happy with how that turned out. Now, I built this early on, before I knew about the extra thick floors. These are the skinny floors. The extra thick floors, I'll show you in case you don't know. Skinny floor, thick floor. If I had used the thick floors, that gap you see there wouldn't be there, and it would look a little nicer, but you know what? It bugs me a little, but not enough to, do anything about it. Here's my little lounge area. Jukebox, which inexplicably only plays classical music. I don't know why this rockabilly-obsessed dystopian future has jukeboxes that only play classical music. Maybe they like to play pool to classical music. I don't know, but it's a little weird. Now here we have some sleeping area. This was going to be my sort of main bedroom slash office area, but then I built a better one, so I just turned this into more sleeping area, but still kind of cool. Got my little Mirelurk claw and my mole rats there. In my initial blurb, when I was talking about Justine's interests, I probably should have added taxidermy to that list, because I really do dig the the decoration system. Okay, so this is the one house, pre-existing, pre-war house that I built up. We may as well do a quick tour of that. There's nothing really, no surprises here. It's just, got some furniture and some lights, and it's got Mama Murphy's little chair there, which she likes to get whacked out of her tree on. Although I did cure her. I decided that, I didn't want to be her pusher. More drugs for me. Alright, so this is the building I'm the most proud of. It's my kind of big hangar slash main base. I've got some scrap stations, I've got all the workstations, I've got all my power armor collections and some merchant stalls, as you can see. My main power armor is here. I'm still building up the top tier armor. I've got some pieces missing, as you can see. This is the sort of armor I'm using right now. I've got it upgraded to the F series with some neat mods. I still kind of dig the look of that armor, the T-51. I don't know, why do I have a T-60 head on here? Oh, anyway, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, just go upstairs. One thing I like about this is it kind of baffles the villagers, so they don't often come past this point. It almost acts like a fence, because I don't want the plebs up in my sanctuary. You know, this is my sort of private reflection area. This is where I come to kind of get all, you know, have my moments, think about my kid Sean. You know, this is the crib which I took from my original house. I put a little Jangles the Moon Monkey in there that I can kind of, you know, sit and kind of feel sorry for myself and think about Sean and get all messed up on Jet and kind of, you know, just have a bit of a pity party. But then I get over it and I kill some more super mutants. Now, I guess a pleb has been up here because look at look at the mess they made. Now this is a glitch that happens. If you just do that, it'll sort of fix itself. That kind of bugs me a little bit, but whatever. So I got my magazine stand. I got a nice little view of the town. I've got my bobblehead stand over here. As you can see, I haven't really done much of the main quest line. I've been building up towns too much, and so I haven't really found that many bobbleheads. I've got a top bit that I've built onto this house, and I've got a way to get up here in case I want to turn those on and off. I also have a way onto this roof because this roof has my broadcast tower, so if I want to turn the broadcast tower on and off, I have a way to get up here and get to that switch. Come down here, we'll look at my farm. Now here's my farm. I've got a little bit of everything that you can plant up to this point. I might be able to unlock other plants in the future, I'm not sure, but this is everything I can do up to this point. Now let's look at that. Let's talk about this. Guys, mute fruit, fallout, mutants, mutation, mute fruit, not mutt fruit, mute fruit. It drives me crazy when people say mutt fruit. What is a mutt fruit? That doesn't mean look a cross between a dog and a fruit. Come on, people, mute fruit, please. Okay, so here's my little mall, little shopping mall. I really liked making these little kind of cool little shacks for each independent merchant, but I didn't realize that when I built the bar, all the people would sort of congregate at the bar after a hard day's work. I mean, you know, who can blame them? I certainly don't blame them for wanting to do that after cultivating mute fruit all day. Mute fruit all day. But I'm sad they don't have anywhere to sit, and there's no disco ball, there's just nothing. There's not even any lights. So I'm going to have to move that bar to a more appropriate locale so that they have somewhere to chill out that isn't so... Well, there's nothing more depressing than seeing all these bedraggled settlers hanging around their bar in the middle of a rad storm. It just makes me sad. So that's the last thing I really would do to improve this town. Otherwise, I'm quite pleased with it. It's got, I'll show you the stats in case you didn't see it before. So 20 people, tons of food, tons of water, tons of power. The defense rating is just off the charts. I don't know, they're miserable, their happiness is going down, but still pretty good. Alright, one last thing I will say is that this town is legit. I didn't use any cheats, I didn't do anything you know, to get extra resources or anything like that. But I did make use of an exploit which I almost don't even consider an exploit. It's the weapon size limit bug, so which I will demonstrate now. So let's just take a couple of weapons here. The more weapons you use for this, the better off you're going to be. So I've just grabbed a bunch of weapons from my workshop, where I keep them. Wherever you store them is irrelevant, but I keep mine in my workshop. I go out to a place that's flat, because we're going to drop all these weapons, okay? We're going to drop the weapons, and we don't want them to clip through a floor, basically. So dropping them in a flat area like this is just going to work better. It's problem avoidance, really. Alright, so now that we've done that, we're going to go into building mode, and one by one, we're going to store each of these. Not scrap them, store them. And that moves them to the workshop, and if you look at that bar, in the size bar, every time I did that, the size bar went down just a tiny little smidgen of an increment. You do that enough times, you buy yourself a lot of extra space on the size bar, which I've done a couple of times. I will admit it. I probably wouldn't have been able to put up as many guns had I not made use of that. But anyway, there it is. There's my town. There's the blurbs and the little pieces of information I wanted to get across. And so I'm going to sign off now. Me and Trash Can Carla and a very... a Paladin Dance who's now questioning his choices in life. I'll bid you a very fond farewell. Take care now.